do it, sis. Do not buy another program. Do not buy another fitness program. You know you're not going to actually stick to it, like you haven't been. I'm someone that actually sells an ebook on how to lose fat, and I'm telling you to not buy a program. Why would I be telling somebody to not buy a program when I am actually somebody that encourages people to buy my how to lose fat, how I lost 30 pounds? This is why. You know you've already done it, okay? You know you've already bought the program, you've bought the nutritional program, you've hired the coaches, you've done all that. And when it comes time to you actually implementing what you learned on your own, you're failing. You're not able to do it. And so I'm going to tell you exactly what to do right now so you can resolve this and overcome this. And then think about maybe following a program, right? Okay. So here's the thing. Sometimes when we buy these fitness programs or we hire these coaches, it's actually a Band-Aid over the actual problem that got us to where we were to begin with. Okay? So most of the time, not everybody, I'm not, like if you have a medical condition or a health condition, that's definitely not what I'm talking about in this video. This is for you as somebody that has just made poor choice after poor choice after poor choice, and you just kind of keep saying, it's okay, I'll start in the future, I'll start next month, I'll start next Monday, I'll start next year, I'll do my New Year's resolution, let me buy this program. And the whole time, it's really just your habits. It's just your habits, okay? So you can buy a program and be really excited and get physical dopamine hits, like physical hormonal reactions to make you feel better because you're going in the right direction. But then for some of us, it ends up making us feel worse because we get the program, we might open it up for 3 days, attempt to do it for 3 days, and then we just let it sit and collect dust, right? In our phone, virtual dust, right? And then we're like, oh wait, yeah, like I totally bought that program and never really like gave it a chance. Unfortunately, the times that we live in, it has distorted our perception of how long a program is supposed to actually take before you actually start to see true results. So when we think of fast, right? So you might get a program and it says, okay, lose fat super fast, 6 weeks, right? And so you actually open it up, you open up the program, you buy the program, so you're feeling confident, you're happy about yourself, you know, you're investing in yourself. So that's excellent. So then you go to actually do the program, and 4 days in, you don't see one result. If anything, you might have actually gained a pound or two, right? And so it ends up being defeating. It ends up being defeating. So there's a couple things that I really want to highlight and reprogram your mind on. Is losing fat in 6 weeks is actually fast. Losing fat in 8 weeks, in 12 weeks, in 15 weeks is actually fast. Like when you look at the bigger scheme of life, and in order to transform your body or transform your nutrition, 3 to 6 months that you could actually put the work in, and it will massively change your life for the next 10 years. That 3 to 6 months is actually quick. So we think of it as, well, we see people just going right onto the surgery table, which there's no, to each their own on that. This is not me encouraging you not to do surgery. But I think what happens is we see mostly women, well, men get surgery all the time, physical surgeries like liposuction and stuff like that too. But for the sake of this video, it's like we see women go in and then they come out and they have this, whole brace on, like, I don't know what to call it, like a body shaper after they had surgery. You can already see that they have a whole new body recomposition, like, because their fat's sucked out and put into other places, right? So we're like, well, we want the quick results like that. You physically can't get it. Like, you physically can't do something for 3 days and get that kind of result unless you want to do surgery. So if you want to do the surgery, that's definitely one route. But I want to, again, remind you that you can massively change the way that you look in 3 to 6 months and have it be permanent. Because what happens is you permanently change the habits that got you to the 40 to 50 pounds overweight to begin with. So you never gain the weight back. It's like you literally create a new standard for yourself. You have a new bar. Okay, there's a new bar. So some of our bar is down here, right? So when we raise the bar, it's not just a simple goal or we just made a list and checked off things off of our list. It is now the bottom level. So it being high is the bottom level. This is really cool. I wish I could turn the camera around, but there's like all of these motorcycle drivers or motorcyclists. I think they're all on like one squad, one team. It says Indian, what does it say? Indian Motors. Oh, Riders Group. Really, really cool. That's so cool. So anyways, so your standard is here. So once you start changing certain habits, your habits are so dialed in that when you start to get close to here, you're like, that becomes your new zero. That becomes your new baseline. So what I want to tell you is like, don't get another program if you're not going to stick to it. And if you can't stick to it, let's actually dive into why that is. Is it that you literally want to see results in 3 days, 4 days, 7 days? You have to switch the mindset to remembering that the human body has to go through its process. And then once you start to get the muscle memory and the habits dialed in, you'll start to see the weight just fall off because your habits are actually, like, you automatically do certain habits. So let me give you some examples. So for me, I do not eat late, period. Like, that is a baseline. It is what it is. Have I once or twice this entire year in 2024? Yeah, right? But as a rule, okay, as a hardcore rule, I don't eat at 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 p.m. If I am invited to an event, or there's a situation where I'm being faced with deciding if I'm going to eat super late like that, I just won't eat. I just will be that person at the dinner that won't eat, or I'll have something extremely small. Now, someone can say, well, you're not living. Okay, but are you living? Are you really living when you're constantly under stress and constantly having to deal with the body issues and the tearing yourself down and the not trusting yourself because you said you were going to do something, and here it is again that you're eating super late and you're not able to lose the weight, and you didn't, like, when you promise yourself that you're going to hit these certain goals and habits, you didn't do it again. So now you don't have trust with yourself. So is that really living? Like, living in anxiety, living in self-doubt, living in putting yourself down? Is that really living? So it just depends on, again, what your baseline is for yourself. Now, granted, again, like I said, 2 times this year, yeah, like, I was living, right? Like, I was like, okay, I never see this person. We barely run into each other ever. We're at this nice event. Oh, let's all go grab something to eat. Okay, cool, right? And then again, I'll still have something small. But the days are over for me eating a massive amount of food. Like, when I was in my 20s, I would eat, like, of course, being in your 20s, going out, everyone's going out to eat after, and then eating like tons of pancakes, like going to Denny's. Like, in college, we would all go to Denny's because that was like the only thing that was open in the city that I went to college in. So go to Denny's, load up on the tater tots, load up on the pancakes, load up on the milkshake, the chocolate shake, right? Those days are over. Like, those were fun at that time, but I would feel crazy if I did that now. I would feel crazy. But here's the thing, a lot of us as, women or adults in general, in the late 30s, going into the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, are still eating like that, and then wondering why they can't lose the weight when they try to for 3 days or 4 days. They kind of try to eat better, but they barely see any results, and they just say, forget it. You're going to have to switch your mindset and say, okay, I'm not going to even think about wanting to see a result until 90 days in. 90 days. So you have to think about it. Corporations, they have evaluations every quarter. That's 90 days. Our seasons, fall, winter, summer, spring, 90 days, right? Like, nature goes in these cyclical patterns of, 30 days, 90 days, 120 days. Like, it takes a little bit of time. So when you're looking at it forward, right? So like today is November 10th. So when I'm thinking of 90 days from now, that seems like a long time, right? It seems like, man, 90 days, I got to do this for the next 90 days. But then when you think of the last 90 days behind you, like from today and backwards, I feel like I blinked and it's all of a sudden in the middle of November, right? So just know that it actually really does go by, like the 90 days will go by fast. It's more so that you have to shift into that delayed gratification of passing up on the sweets, passing up on the drinks, passing up on eating super late. So some other things that I do, I don't have junk food in the house. I just don't. I just do not. And I know that there's some people where I have kids or I have a spouse. Tons of women do this. Tons of men do this as well. Have an area where it's just for the children. Like there's a certain cupboard or a certain drawer where this is just for the children. Like you can even label it just for the children. And it starts to kind of mentally have you checked in like, okay, this is just for the kids. I don't need to go anywhere near that section, right? Unless I'm grabbing something for the children. So, or if your husband is not on a journey, but you are, okay, this is husband's cupboard, right? It works because it's more so out of sight, out of mind. If you casually have snacks in jars and clear jars all over the place, I know it looks pretty and it's trendy and it's like, it's nice to look at, but you got to do what you got to do. So that out of sight, out of mind is a really big one for me. If I have Oreos in the house, it's getting smacked off, period. So why would I do that to myself? Why would I put Oreos and Chips Ahoy and Doritos and Twix and Butterfingers and all those things in front of my face? And then I'm just putting myself through this self-inflicted torture that is just unnecessary. I don't have to look at it. So it's just not in my house at all. And again, I don't have any children or a husband at this season of my life. Glory be to God, I'm praying for that. But that's what I'll be doing. It's like you just got to do what you have to do. So there's that. Drinking water throughout the day. We already know how important that is. And it also keeps you satiated and more full. Okay. Not overindulging on the food. Like having second plate, third plate, fourth plate, and then feeling so full to where you can barely breathe is very, very, obviously it's physically unhealthy, but it's mentally unhealthy too. Like what is it about going after the third plate and you're not hungry anymore, but you're still doing it? There's something there that you need to work on with your ability to have self-control. So you might really want to do some journaling, like literally for the next 30 days. What some people have done, this really works, is they don't change anything about what their lifestyle is. They still eat the way they want. They're still, if they're not really active, they're still just do exactly what you're doing, but journal about it. So every day for the next 30 days, okay, before you buy another program, before you buy another ebook, before you hire a coach, just commit for the next 30 days, get a journal. And every day for 3 minutes, just jot down really quick. And you could do this throughout the day, or if you want to, habit stack it. Like right before you brush your teeth, you're going to do it real quick. Or you can even do a voice memo, whatever is easiest for you. But do some 3 to 5 minute documentation, note section in your phone. Say, okay, I had Oreos, I had cookies. I noticed that I had a snack at 3 p.m. and it was this. I didn't work out today and I did not really walk at all. I only walked from my house to the car, from the car to work, and then from work to the car, like just a quick little blurb, nothing too crazy. Don't worry about the spelling, just a quick blurb of what your activity was for the day and what you ate for 90 days. Just do that. Today I had a chicken sandwich. Today I had pasta. For dinner I had this. For breakfast I had this. How did I feel after I felt, I felt pretty heavy. And so just be raw and uncut with yourself. Then after the 30 days, look at the trend. You'll notice a trend. You'll notice that, okay, 4 days in a row, I'm always getting really hungry and craving something at 3 p.m. Okay, why is that? Okay, well, when I'm doing more research, I'm finding that because I'm having a big starchy, sugary breakfast, my blood sugar is spiking all throughout the day, and it's triggering me to want to continue to have more sugar. So what happens is when you spike your blood sugar at the beginning of the day, you're more likely to continue to consume starches and sugars because your blood sugar goes up and it crashes. And then the body's like, okay, we need another hit. And so then you're literally feeding like, I got to take a 5 minute, I got to take a 15 minute, and you're on the hunt for a donut or for you're reaching in your bag for the Butterfinger or whatever, right? So and then you'll see the trend, and then it's like, okay, well, maybe what if I just do a high protein breakfast, right? So if you eat meat, I don't eat meat, but if you eat meat, maybe some kind of like protein and an avocado, right? Like maybe skip the bread for breakfast, okay? And then just see how you feel. Like you'll start to see the trend, and then you can identify like, okay, I always get kind of stressed every time Monday comes. I notice that I'm starting to kind of get stressed out about the week. So every Sunday night every Sunday night I go out to eat, and I'm getting pizza every Sunday for the last 4 Sundays in a row. So just commit to that. Just do that. 30 days food and activity journal on what you did and feeling like how you were just feeling that day. And then look at the trend, and then come back to my page. Let's talk about it. Let me know what you discovered. But I know you have that. You like give yourself a fighting chance. Like really commit to this. Like really let this be the year that you figure this out. Right? So for me, I figured out that I didn't know I was doing this at the time, but I was rewarding myself with sugary things like donuts, Krispy Kremes. I would smack off 6 Krispy Kremes like every other weekend because I'd be like, wow, I had a really tough time. I'm proud of myself. I got through the last 2 weeks being, I would do caregiving for my grandmother, and it would be very difficult and very stressful and very taxing, mind, body, soul. And so I would reward myself with sugar. And then I thought it was fine because I wasn't eating it every day. But then when I would eat it, I would literally like stuff my body, like literally binge. And when I look back and after my research, that was an eating issue. That was a really bad relationship with food. Me rewarding myself with sugar in that way and then overindulging, right? I'm not saying having a little bit of something, a donut here and there is fine. But the way that I was doing it was very, very unhealthy. So I had to really admit to myself, like, okay, I have a problem. I have to get in front of this. So that I ended up doing a whole entire sugar detox. But I noticed the trend. So do that for yourself for the next 30 days. Okay, remember, 30 days is going to go by quick. It seems like, oh man, 30 days. Put a reminder on your phone. Okay, boom. Right before you go to sleep, or every time whenever your lunch break is, jot down, do my journaling or whatever, just something. Even if like you can't do it every night, but then you do it every lunch break from the day before. So say it's a Tuesday and you evaluate yourself from Monday. Okay, was I active on Monday? What did I eat on Monday? How was I feeling? Okay, so now Wednesday comes. Okay, evaluate yourself from Tuesday on your lunch break. Like whatever you have to do. If you can't do it at night because you have the kids, or maybe you just are mentally checked out, whatever, habit stack it with something so that way you remember to do it, and come back to my page, let me know. But it's when I did that for myself, when I did a 30-day tracking, I was like, okay, yeah, I definitely see that I have an issue. So let me know what you guys think about this. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and check out this is a whole series. I'm going to be probably doing this till the end of the year on being brutally honest with you